Welcome back to the Perfect Season podcast. It's your host, Antonio, and Frankie's back from his long-awaited return.
On a way to return.
Yeah. Now we're going to do a mock draft 2.0. Our first one was with Peo. If you didn't see that video, go check it out in the link below or whatever, etc. But right now, we're going to get into mock draft 2.0. And, I'll take the first pick, Frankie.
I'll take the first pick.
Yeah. And you know what? A lot of people called me crazy. And you're gonna call me crazy for this pick too. I think the Panthers go out on a limb here and they draft Cam Newton 2.0 and they take Anthony Richardson.
Anthony Richardson.
Anthony
Uh,
Richardson to the Houston Texans. And
all
also,
right.
Frankie, in this draft, you can make trades.
You can make trades.
Yes, the more you
All right.
know. So that leaves you
So
now with the second pick.
that leaves yes. So the Houston Texans are now on the clock.
Yeah.
The second pick in the 2023 NFL draft. The Houston Texans select CJ Stroud, quarterback, Ohio State.
All right, so that takes Stroud off the clock, and now I'm at three with Arizona. I'm gonna make a trade. I'm gonna make a call to Vegas. I'm gonna force this trade. Oh, that's awkward. I can't force that trade. But so I'm not gonna make a trade. I'm not gonna make a trade. I'm gonna have the Arizona Cardinals. They need a guard desperately slash edge rusher. They're taking Will Anderson Jr.
So Will Anderson Jr., one of the
That was
most
very awkward that I couldn't make that trade.
players, one of the best players in this draft. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Fourth pick belongs to the Indianapolis Colts. Now, according to my cheat sheet, the Indianapolis Colts
Need a
are needing
quarterback.
a quarterback, an offensive lineman, or a wide receiver. Well, the Colts haven't pulled their special and signed a free agent quarterback like they do normally in the offseason. So, with the fourth pick in the 2023 NFL draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Will Levis, quarterback,
Wow.
Kentucky.
Will Levis.
We're getting edgy here when you
We
think
are getting we're getting a little edgy here. All right, so that leaves me with five. And obviously Seattle just had a great season. They just had a great season with Geno Smith. But this is where the following stops of Bryce Young. I'm going with Bryce Young.
Bryce Young of the Seattle Seahawks now. Do you
Because Geno Smith is getting up there in age.
do you see him starting this season, or do you see him sitting behind Geno Smith?
Bryce Young. I say
Yeah.
give Geno Smith if Bryce Young goes to Seattle, I still see Geno Smith starting, and then maybe 5, 6 games after you throw Geno in Bryce
All
Young in
right.
there.
All right.
That leaves Detroit.
So that leaves me with the sixth pick in the draft, the Detroit Lions.
Now you
So
could take receiver, tight end, or defensive line.
my needs that I'm seeing, you're seeing wide receiver, tight end, defensive lineman. It looks like.
Yeah.
Well, I'm seeing on mine defensive back, defensive line, and linebacker.
Okay.
So we're gonna consult
I'll
B.
console here.
All right, and we are going to go with. Who do we want to go with?
I got Jalen Carter, Devin Witherspoon,
All right, we'll scroll back up
Skoronsky.
for a minute.
All
We're gonna
right.
make sure. We're gonna do our due diligence here. We're gonna say that
The Detroit Lions.
with the sixth pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Lucas Van Ness, edge rusher from Iowa.
So, do you feel like I'm not disagreeing with your pick here? Not disagreeing. Do you feel like this is a little bit of a risky pick? Doing a little bit of a reach.
I think it's a little bit of a reach, but I would rather have him versus a guy like Jalen Carter, who was
Who
in
is accused?
issues just over a month ago.
That you got a fair point there. You got a fair point. All right, now that leaves me with Vegas, and obviously I cannot make a trade. So my needs are quarterback, offensive line, and defensive back. And that leaves me Jalen Carter, Devin Witherspoon, Skoronski, Tyree Wilson, Quentin Johnson, and Christian Gonzalez, and Nat Jackson Smith, Nick Jigba. And now, obviously, all the quarterbacks are taken off the clock here. But, I see Jalen Carter still sliding. Devin Witherspoon's a name that I'd like to see. He's a good corner. But I think, honestly, they're going to take Christian Gonzalez.
Christian Gonzalez. Okay.
Now, this is your pick now with the ATL Atlanta Falcons,
Atlanta
who
Falcons with the 8th pick. So
who
this says
God
this
knows
says
what they're going to do.
this is quarterback, wide receiver, and edge rusher.
Yeah,
Other sheet says edge rusher, wide receiver, or corner.
me personally, if I was Atlanta,
Well, you took the guy.
I would go defense.
You took the guy I wanted. We're gonna both
Gonzalez,
secondary here with the 8th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. The Atlanta Falcons select Devin Witherspoon, cornerback, Illinois.
that's a good pick for them.
It's a
So now
good pick.
this leaves
gonna help. It's gonna help bolster a defense that just signed Jesse Bates this offseason.
Mm-hmm. And also recently signed Jeff Okuda.
That's yeah. So their secondary is going to be beefed up.
Yeah. So right now we got the Bears. And honestly, I think this is where Skorinsky stops sliding. With the 9th pick, the Chicago Bears build protection for Justin Fields and take Peter Skorinsky.
That's a good pick there, especially when you consider he played just up the road in Evanston, and he's
Yeah.
going to be playing right at home. So now, via New Orleans, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. And I make a very bold pick here for the Philadelphia Eagles and say that with the 10th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Tyree Wilson, edge rusher from Texas Tech. This is going to help them replace the loss of Javon Hargrave last season.
Yeah. I see this pick either you're taking wide receiver because that's in my opinion, that's best available. In my opinion, one of these two receivers is going to be a Tennessee tight end. And I'm going with Quentin Johnson to Tennessee.
Quentin Johnson.
Now,
Right.
I think both of us have an agreement on this pick here.
I think
For
we do
Houston,
too. And with the 12th pick,
you pair Jackson Smith, Nick Jigba with his buddy from CJ Stroud in Houston.
yeah, and that's continuing a trend that we're seeing across the NFL, Anthony, with college quarterbacks. I didn't even say it. I don't need to say that's okay. Look at college quarterbacks and college
Joe Burrow
teammates.
and
Joe
Joe
and Jamar,
Burrow.
Tua and Jalen,
Yeah.
Jalen and Devontae. There's another one. I know. I'm trying to think of who it is. I know there's another one. I'll think of it. I'll think of it in a minute, but I know there's another one in there somewhere.
Somewhere.
I'm sure I'll think of it at some point.
Yeah, it's gonna come to you eventually soon.
Okay, so
that leaves us with the 13th pick here.
And the Jets will probably boo whoever they pick because they're not happy with anything.
The New York Jets just in the season. Now, here's my opinion. Do you go best available or do you go with what you need?
I go with what you need in the first round.
All right, so their needs are a tackle and a linebacker.
I don't think you go best available until the third day.
I think this is where Paris Johnson Jr. goes.
Paris Johnson Jr.
Tackle. Protect whoever's going to be at quarterback.
The
Rogers,
Jets have made
Wilson,
the Jets have
Flacco.
tried. The Jets have. I feel like the Jets have drafted a lot of offensive linemen over the years. Mekhi Becton obviously didn't work out.
Yeah, obviously.
That's a position that they need to figure out. regardless of who their starting quarterback is going to be, Zach Wilson, Mike White, or Aaron Rodgers, maybe.
Mike White's a Miami Dolphin.
Well, that doesn't help them. All right, so you're drafting
I'm taking Paris Johnson Jr.
Harris Johnson Jr.
or Darnell Wright.
Darnell Wright have played on a very good Tennessee offensive line.
Who you taking in this situation?
Hey, it's your pick.
Oh yeah. That is true. That's true. I'm taking Darnell Wright.
Okay.
All right, now
So now we're in New
this
England.
is
Now
your
this is
pick.
a really interesting pick.
Now we're cooking here.
Now it's interesting because I see quarterback.
But obviously, if we were to look at quarterback right now, Tanner McKee, Hendon
I don't
Hooker,
think Mac Jones is as bad as he played last year. So I'm not
Jake,
even gonna consider drafting a quarterback. All right. Tackle.
no.
Use some help on the offensive line. Or they could use their edge their defensive line with Matthew Judon and Josh Uche. That's solid across the board. Christian Barmore.
Yeah.
So I'm not really worried there. So I'm gonna focus on a tackle. So
He's thinking.
we're gonna so we look at offensive tackle. We're gonna take the best guy available. We're gonna take Paris Johnson Jr. from Ohio State.
Paris Johnson Jr. is a New England Patriot.
All right, now we go to the Packers.
Oh God, where do I even start?
I feel like I feel like if you're Green Bay, the
If you're
position
Green
you're in
Bay,
right now is really, really difficult.
I mean, obviously I can't make a trade because I have to get the upgraded package. Sorry, we're poor out here. But I think this is where you either go, you look best available, or
Do I like this girl's Instagram story, by the way? Just a side note.
we can talk about that after the podcast.
Oh, okay.
We go. I think honestly, here, I think Jalen. I think this is where you take Jalen Carter.
This is where okay, so you're gonna take Jalen Carter
I'm taking Jalen Carter.
to help a Packers defensive line that has been a little bit depleted in recent years.
Mm-hmm.
We have the Washington Commanders. Now the question I have is, are they sold on Sam Howell as their starting
I
quarterback?
mean, Sam Howell. Honestly, Sam Howell's looked in his one or two games that he's played. He's looked really great.
So we have a quarterback, a guard,
I think
center.
you like I tell everybody, like I'm telling everybody, give them time. You can't judge a quarterback off 1 year.
So we will go in a different direction then.
What were you thinking?
We're gonna help bolster. I was gonna go maybe a quarterback.
Well,
We're not
Frankie, best quarterback available is until Tanner McKee and Hendon Hooker.
but that's okay. We're gonna go in a different direction, and we're gonna say, where is?
You got Kalashi
Okay,
Kansey.
I'll tell you who we're gonna go with. All right, now let me see the team needs again.
Quarterback, guard, center, and
Guard,
linebacker.
center. Well, let's see who's a center that the Commanders could draft, or maybe they want to go linebacker. Maybe they go linebacker.
Yeah,
All right,
linebacker.
see they have a linebacker. Well, you're not anywhere near them. All
Oh,
right.
best available linebacker is Dane Henley.
I don't like either one of those picks. So you know what?
This is where we go best available.
Or you can make a trade. Or are we not doing trades?
I have to get the upgraded package for a trade.
Well, then okay. Then we will.
I'm poor.
We're gonna go best available, and we'll
I
be
think he bolstered the defensive line.
yeah with Kalijah Cansey. All right.
Now now you got me. You got me in the interesting position now with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's one of those teams where it's like I honestly do not know, but I think here you go. I could go either way with this. I could go best available and give Kenny Pickett another weapon, or bolster up their defense. You know, I'm going risky here. I'm gonna go risky. Taking Dalton Kincaid.
Ooh, big reach. And
You
pair
know,
him with Pat Fryermuth along the in the tight end room. So the Lions are back on the clock. All right.
yeah.
Let's give Goff another weapon. So let's go. Let's see what we have at wide receiver.
Best receivers. Zay Flowers, that's a reach.
That's either way, it's a reach.
Addison's a reach.
Let's go tight
Down.
end. Let's go tight end.
Isn't Michael Mayer?
Well,
Mayer at 28?
see they have on D line.
Oh,
So
I
their
already,
D-line,
I already. Brian
so
Bresee,
D-line.
Bresee,
All right. You know what? We're gonna take him.
Mozzie Smith.
We're gonna take Brian Bresee out of Clemson.
Oh God, now you leave me with Tampa. Obviously, you need the quarterback position, but I'm not reaching for Hendon Hooker. Not yet. It's way too early. If Hooker didn't get a torn ACL, that's a different story. So now tight end, we'll look at that later on in the rounds. Then you go offensive line. Best offensive line, I mean Anton Harrison or Broderick Jones. Now defensive line, I'm hoping this is a pick I really would love. How's Murphy or safety at Brian Branch. And now Tampa needs bolster both. But in the fact that possibility after this year, they're losing Devin White, probably to the Philly. I'm gonna go a little risky here. I'm gonna take Miles Murphy.
Miles Murphy.
Now,
So now I've got the Seahawks.
yes.
They do need some offensive line help. So let's go. Let's look at the guards.
The guards.
Offensive guard. Or
Do offensive tackle.
IOL. That's interior offensive line. That's where I want to look.
That's awkward.
I know. All right. Well, you gotta check off offensive tackle because now you have
That's even that.
so
My bad.
IOL. Well, no one's really good there. So go back to best available. Actually, no. Go to the D line because they do need some help on the defensive line because they can't.
Mozzie Smith, Keanu
Too much
Benton.
of a reach. Too much of a reach. I'm out of Las Vegas. Go to best available.
I'm at best available.
Okay. Now, yeah, we're gonna go with I'm surprised he slid this far down. Deontay Banks.
You are a Seattle Seahawk. Now, I could go here. I could go either side of the ball. I really could. But I'm going to stop the falling. And Brian Branch, welcome to LA.
Ryan Branch.
Mm-hmm.
Ravens.
Wide receiver, edge, and corner.
I'll tell you who they're gonna pick.
Is it who I think it is?
Well, I'm trying to think. You know what? Scroll up.
Yeah, I'm up.
They're gonna do this to piss off the city of Pittsburgh. Joey Porter Jr.
Joey Porter Jr. to Baltimore.
Joey Porter had a history of torching the Ravens. Now he's gonna do it. Now his son's gonna do it back to Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm. Now I see here you need wide receiver, D line, linebacker, and corner. I'm going Nolan Smith here.
Nolan Smith.
That's a good pick
The Vikings defense that had to fire their defensive coordinator in the offseason. So I got the Jaguars. All right. Well, we're going to take Will McDonald the fourth.
That leaves me now with the Giants. Now, could you call me crazy here, Frankie? Could you possibly see a Saquon Barkley and Bijan Robinson backfield?
Man, that sounds like a dream, but I don't know if I can see it.
Or do you take best available and take Anton Harrison?
Um, I would take offensive lineman here because I feel like you need to protect Daniel Jones.
So I'm going with Anton Harrison.
Yep. All right. So now I've
Now
got Dallas.
America's gonna.
Dallas is gonna they're gonna do it. They're gonna go Sean Robinson.
Now I'm with Buffalo, America's stupidest team, and they need defensive back help.
They
But
do.
best defensive back is Emmanuel Forbes, unless we go gonna go corner. Yep, Emmanuel Forbes. Emmanuel Forbes, a Buffalo Bill.
Emmanuel Forbes.
It's a
All right.
good
Well,
pick.
this pick is easy for me with the Bengals. He played his high school football in Cincinnati, so we're gonna draft Michael Mayer from Notre Dame.
All right. Now this pick, it pains me to say this. Really does. I'm going Broderick Jones here.
Roderick Jones, the Saints. Help out Derek Carr. All right, now we got
Yes.
the Eagles. So the Eagles
America's.
are edge rusher Nolan Smith, or no, Tyree Wilson.
Hmm.
Now they're gonna bolster the wide receiver room. They're gonna take Jordan Addison
Over Zay Flowers.
over Zay Flowers.
And now this leaves me with Kansas City. I hate to say it. You give Patty Mahomes another weapon. I'm taking Zay Flowers.
All right. You can never have too much depth.
All right, so now
All
that the
right.
draft is over, our draft grade. I'm not doing that. This is our first round mock draft. And like I said, Anthony Richardson, my crazy pick. CJ Stroud, Will Anderson, Will Levis, Bryce Young, Lucas Van Ness, Christian Gonzalez, Witherspoon, so on and so forth. And now, stop share. That's all we're. And that will most likely conclude today's episode. Thank you.
Where's the grade?
Oh, you have to upgrade for that. Like I said, I'm
Oh,
poor. Like I
oh,
said,
okay. Well, it's probably an A anyway.
yeah, probably like a C or a B.
All right.
That will do it for today's episode. Once again, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. Tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like. Call me crazy if you want to. I really don't care. Just tell us what you agree with, tell us what you don't agree with, etc. And thank you for the men and women who serve our armed forces and stay tuned for the next one.